Okay, so we're gonna do yellow and blue, and again, I'm not gonna be using white and black. So I'm gonna put yellow there, and I'm gonna put blue here. Remember, we're using acrylic paint. What did I say regarding acrylic paint and when it dries? Does it look the same? Does it look lighter, or does it look darker?
Darker.
It'll dry darker, so keep that in mind. If you're worried about the paint drying too fast on you, one thing you can do, I sometimes do this depending on how long this is going to take me. I'll take a paintbrush, preferably a bigger one. I'll dip it in the cup with some water, and then all I'll do is I'll squeeze a couple drops of water into the paint. And this will, now you don't want to do too many drops, because then your paint's going to be watered down. Okay, what color do you think I'm going to start with? The yellow or the blue?
Yellow.
Why the yellow, Chris?
Because it's the lighter.
Correct.
The two.
Correct. You always want to start with the lightest one, okay? And you always want to work towards the darkest one. I mean, you can do the dark to light, but you're going to have a harder time doing it. Yes, James? You're right. Okay. So mix that water up really well for the yellow. And I'm going to go past the center, or the midway point of my paper. Okay. Rinse out. Please remember to let me know if I'm going too fast and if you need me to do something again. Dry my brush. And now I'm going to grab some blue. Mix it, because I added some water there. So just like last time, keep in mind how much time you're spending in one section. Okay, I'm going to take the blue and drag it towards the yellow. If you did not clean your brush well and you still had some yellow on there, or whatever color you're using, it's gonna combine with the blue that you grabbed, or the other color that you grabbed. That's why you want to make sure that you are cleaning your brush when you're switching colors or paint. Alright, okay, so I'm there, and I'm just gonna start going over the yellow. Don't be too concerned, by the way, about the outline. I'm not gonna be a stickler on that. My main goal for everyone to do this, or when doing this, is to make sure that you're blending as best you can. Alright, so the yellow had dried a little bit, but it still looks green because I put the blue right on top of it. I'm gonna take the yellow, paint over the blue. You see how it's already making the green? And the hard part is going to be getting rid of this line right here. Alright? So one of the issues here of me getting rid of that line, you want to be careful, because I can start just putting my paintbrush over it and dragging it, but if you do that too much, you're going to start to tear into the paper. So I'm going to let that dry a little bit and then paint another layer over it. Okay, and then I'm going to go over here to the yellow where it turns to the green and put more solid yellow on that. But again, make sure you're rinsing out your paintbrush and drying it well. So you see how I got rid of that line? And I'm going to do the same thing over here where the blue-green is at. In essence, we should have solid green in the middle between the two, which means I need to go and grab some blue and some yellow. And I'm actually going to just mix the green on my palette just because it'll be easier to do it here first and then take it over to the gradient. Keep in mind how much blue you're mixing in with the yellow. If you put too much blue, it's going to be a really darker looking green. And if it's not enough blue, it's going to look like a yellow green. So let me put some more blue so it's more of a solid green. I hope everyone's remembering to rotate their brushes so that you're mixing as much paint and blending as much paint as possible on your, see the difference now? There. That's a better green. All right. Okay. And now rinse my paintbrush. No more green, and I'm going to go back with the yellow over that line. Make sure you're rinsing your paintbrush really well. It's going to mess up your yellow if you don't. So solid yellow on top of that line in order to fade it out. So Elise, I believe she asked me last class, which direction am I moving my paintbrush to get rid of that line or fade out that line? I tend to first move it vertically down the line, and then I'll go side to side. And then I'll use my hand to wipe off any extra paint, and then just use the paint that's already on there to fade out that line. Okay. There. So that's a smoother transition here between the yellow and the green. And then now I want to go back and get rid of this line. All right. So now the blue. Gets a little darker green, like a blue green, right? And now I'm dragging over. The rinsing and wiping of your paintbrush is probably, I would say, the most important part when blending paint. And it's the step that most beginners will forget about. And if you don't do it right, or you don't do it enough, you're gonna have a really hard time or difficult time blending. Okay. Questions? Concerns?
No.
Okay. Caritina, what two colors did you do before this?
I did blue and red.
Okay, perfect. So then did you get purple in the middle?
Yeah, I got like a purple, like a, yeah.
Okay.
And then like, yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, we got solid yellow, right? We got a yellow green. We got a solid green. We got a blue green. And then we got a solid blue. Okay. Does anyone need me to explain anything again. Okay. Boom. There's blending with acrylic paint. The most basic way of doing it. Okay. So as people are continuing and finishing up, you guys will submit this on Canvas, right? And it will go, you're gonna just take a picture of it either on your phone or even with your Chromebook. Sharon, you can use any paper like your sketchbook as long as it's thick enough, right? You don't want like photocopy paper because that's gonna be too thin. Okay. You're gonna go to the acrylic blending practice and you're gonna submit it in here by uploading the picture of it. All right.